What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Awakening World. I'm Love Coach Scott Gatamas, and I am so honored to be your host. We are the Global Peace Tribe, and for there to be peace in the world, I can't imagine anything that's more important than really cultivating tolerance and appreciation for cultural diversity and spiritual diversity. And especially at a time where, sadly, some of our leaders are creating more racism, more polarization, more us versus them thinking. It's so important to honor those people that are bridging cultures, bridging religious traditions, bridging spiritual traditions. And it's now become an annual event that our beloved DR, who is co-hosting the show tonight, puts together a show for the Awakening World where we are celebrating upcoming Interfaith Awareness Week. And I'm going to briefly introduce some of the people that are on the show and then turn over to DR to share a little bit. But we are going to once again have the Reverend Dr. Abigail Albert and her beloved husband, Dr. Stephen Albert, with us. A new friend, Yusef Miller, is with us. So another new friend who's been actually following us for quite a while, Monica Willard, is with us. And we are going to hear an enormously talented woman. I'm excited to share some of what she's created theatrically, being a theater guy myself. This is Ruth Broyle Sharon. Uh, and I think that's our presenters. DR, what would you like to say as an opening before we go to Omashar about Interfaith Awareness Week?
Thank you, Scott. And hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I first want to honor all the work that Reverend Dr. Steve Albert and beloved Reverend Dr. Abigail Albert have done to put together the World Interfaith Awareness Week. This is the 10th year anniversary, and Steve has worked tirelessly to bring together just so many amazing people from around the planet who are doing interfaith work, social justice work. So I want to honor him, even though we're going to be highlighting many of our presenters more in depth. Last year, we did a very in-depth view into Point, the Poway Interfaith Network out of San Diego County, of which Stephen, Abigail, and Yusuf and many others are part of. And thank you to all those Global Peace Tribers who subscribe to the newsletter, who have come to love Abigail and Steve as I do. And we're excited to present the whole Interfaith Awareness Week menu to you, as well as I said, going into a deep dive of some of the presenters we have here tonight.
Beautiful. I also, while we have everybody up and before we go to Omashar, I had asked our audience to put what interfaith means to them. And I want to read some of the wonderful comments from our audience because this is going to be a very interactive show. Carol Craig writes, I've been a Unitarian Universalist for over 35 years, but raised a Catholic and Protestant household in a very Jewish area on the North Shore of Chicago, close to the Baha'i Temple. Wow, you just right there got about 5 different faiths all in one there. So that's beautiful. She's currently coming to us from Trinidad on her annual Rest and Renewal Retreat. So thank you, Carol. That's a great start. Tia Therese writes, Interfaith has come to mean to me opening myself to God consciousness, which is love consciousness, learning about many expressions of belief without judgment. Beautiful. And Susan, by the way, Sabbath, points out it is the full moon right now ruled by the planet Uranus, and she's coming to us from Santa Barbara. Bonnie Russell writes, I was raised as Catholic, but as an adult, I chose no particular church. I was heavily involved with a Methodist-sponsored youth group through my late teens for about 15 years. Her teenage years lasted a very long time. She has embraced the teachings of Jesus, also known as Yeshua, without labels, gradually embracing all spirituality. And I think that's a great example, Bonnie, of how many of us have evolved. I'm just going to read a couple more. Eleanor Joy writes that her story was raised in the United Church of Canada, similar to the Methodist Church. It worked well for her until it didn't. And then she found a spiritual path in the 90s that was more true to her heart and soul. And now programs like the Awakening World help to support and sustain her on this wonderful path as we all come together as family. Family, by the way, is a term that our beloved DR made up, and it's a combination of friends and family. The last one I'll read for now, but I'll read more later on, is from Susan Blomquist, who writes, I'm a big fan of interfaith work. I have plenty of experience with the Catholic Church, and I've studied many faiths. The commonality of each faith seems to be always found upon love and often practical aspects. And I'll just add my 2 cents. I think the great commonality is compassion. The spiritual teachers that I resonate the most with teach compassion, which seems to be weaving through many faiths. So we're going to get to meet all these people, talk with them, take your questions, but it is time to turn things over to my beloved brother, our house musical artist, Omashar.
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, then I go inside and I quiet my mind. I can hear spirit gently say, that sets us free. There is only love. Da, 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 ba. Da, 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 ba, da, da. When I go inside and I quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say that there's only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
What a perfect opening song. Thank you so much, Amashar. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I am going to go to our beloved Diara to bring up some of our guests.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Omashar. That was so beautiful. So I'd like to bring back Steve and Abigail and bring in Ruth. And let me go. Okay, great. Thank you. Let's see. And we've got Ruth. There she is. Beautiful. So a little bit of history. In 2017, the Poway Point Interfaith Network Group was able to put on the NAIN conference in San Diego. NAIN stands for the North American Interfaith Network. It's just a huge organization. And one of the things we did was we rented buses and took everyone down to a park. And there was Ruth, who had this amazing acorn kernel of what's now becoming something so large and phenomenal that she's going to tell us about in terms of interfaith music. And we were privileged to have seen the beginnings of the songs and performances that she's going to be telling us about. So I wanted to honor again Steve and Abigail and the whole Point team for that hard work that year in 2017, and then what Ruth has taken as that kernel and turned it into.
Well, it was so special to have Ruth's program shown. The people from a synagogue choir came together and sang her songs. I mean, that's special in the fact that during that event, there were 250 people from 20 different faiths. They came together for the 5 days. And they ate together and they played together and they met each other as brothers and sisters, knowing that, wow, this is special. And in that park where Ruth's program was on, at the end of the day, everyone danced in a circle. I mean, it was like a bunch of hippies from the 1960s just having a ball. And this one guy was standing on the side as I was walking towards the circle. And he looked at me and he said, "Who are you?"
It was Paul McKenna from Canada.
That was Paul.
Paul, our friend Paul.
And I mean, people were having a ball getting to know other people. So why should that end at the end of one seminar, the end of one week, the end of whatever? And what basically happened is everybody said, this can't end. This must go on. And what became something special for not just the San Diego area, but expanded out throughout the United States. And slowly that expanded out to North America. And here we are 10 years later, we've got people from all over the world who are saying, I believe we should get together. So that's what this Interfaith Awareness Week is. Today, or this coming up, will be the 10th year. And we have had people, many of the speakers are authors and international singers and just doing wonderful, wonderful work. And I should mention to you, to everybody who has still not sure about whether they want to be involved, this is free. No one is getting charged and no one is charging. Everything is free, and people want to know who you are. Why not link on 40 presentations in 7 days, starts at around 8 in the morning, goes till 7, 8 at night. And by the end of the week, Abigail and I will be exhausted. Please don't call that next weekend. But if you send an email, we will answer it probably the following week. So, Deborah, we love you.
Thanks.
Steve. And I just put the Interfaith Awareness menu in our chat. We'll be showing it as a screen share during the presentation, so our other participants not in the Zoom room can have access to it. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Before we hear from Abigail, I just want to point out Carol Craig writes, I attended about 10 of the presentations last year, and then in capital letters, and I loved every one of them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and Reverend Jeffrey Colbrick, who's with us, writes, true interfaith includes science. That's the next quantum leap as we see science reveal the deeper nature of reality, where all of our faith comes from.
That's beautiful. I am not going to say a whole lot, although I just want to say I'm grateful to know Ruth. I love her dearly, and it was such a blessing in 2017 to have the beginnings of her wonderful musical being shown by Cantor Laurie Frank from Temple at Shalom, who's a friend of mine. And so I got them together and they made it happen. That was wonderful. I'm just happy that we can keep doing this. And I'm so grateful to Steve, because I know he's put his heart and soul into orchestrating this all. So my job that week is to show up, of course, and to make sure he's fed because he will sit there all day long. So we're already getting meals prepared from the freezer. So all we have to do is zip them out. So anyway, I'm just grateful to be here today, Deborah, and thank you, Scott. So I would just pass it on to Ruth.
Greetings, everyone. Interfaith greetings. So I have been involved in the interfaith community for close to 40 years now. And I came into it as a documentary filmmaker, an author, and a journalist. I don't know whether you recall the Interfaith Observer that was Paul Chaffee edited and founded, but I wrote more than 50 articles for them over an 8-year period. And so my relationship to interfaith was through documentary films and writing, but I had, in the course of my interfaith career, I made a film called God and Allah Need to Talk. And that film was invited to be shown at the Parliament of the World's Religions in Barcelona. And I came away from that event understanding what a world of interfaith paradise could look like. I was blown away by that. And what's so unusual about this part of my life is that I had no intentions of writing a musical. I'm not a professional musician, but this material, I can only describe it as a cosmic download And I think everybody out in the audience will understand that. I have a harder time explaining it to people who don't believe in California woo-woo, as they like to call it. But this material just manifested, came into my life, and I didn't know why, particularly me. I think the universe should have chosen a more experienced musician than I was. But what I realized is that after all my decades of working in the interfaith community, I knew so much about all the individual communities. I knew what their traditions were. I knew what they loved the most. I knew what their conflicts were. I knew what their histories were. And I think I was chosen to write this music and to convey these ideas because of my love of the different communities. And so it happened one fine day. I was on a walk. The first song came, and we're going to play a few minutes from the musical soon. But I just want to say that God does work in mysterious ways. And don't be surprised at what you're going to be asked to do from this day forward in your life. The people who are committed to the path of peace, and like Marilyn Ferguson said in her amazing novel, The Aquarian Conspiracy, she said, and she wrote this maybe 25, 30 years ago. She said, there are people all over the world like you that are doing parallel work with what you're doing and who have committed themselves to that work. We don't know each other yet, but there's going to come one day, one moment, when all of us are, these are your brothers and sisters, all of us are going to be connected. And in that moment, the entire world is going to shift. And so this music was interpreted to me as a way to enter mainstream and to share these ideas with people who don't go to interfaith meetings, who have never attended a service in a different faith other than their own. But in the theater, where people's hearts are open through music, they're going to learn new ideas about how the world could exist in peaceful coexistence. And so this musical, which you can tell Abigail and Stephen have been supporting it from the very beginning, and people around the world have been writing me and saying, when is this going to be on the stage? This musical is going to be put on the stage by people like yourselves in the audience who want to see us as who we really are, to reflect all our beautiful aspects of ourselves, our traditions, our beliefs, our foibles. And it's done with both humor and with a very serious understanding that this is not easy. This is challenging work. It's causing intergenerational conflict. And so now we're going to have them play a short promo that will introduce you to the music. And thank you so much for this invitation, Scott and Diara.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's this is really beautiful. So I think you're all going to enjoy it. This is just a little bit under 4 minutes long, and it's some of the clips from what she has created, and I think we'll all enjoy it very much.
You could imagine that being right. What if we all could see the beauty of one expanding humanity? There's a field out there beyond all right and wrong. There's a field out there of peace for which we long. There's a field out there where you and I belong. Go, go, meet me there.
Our protagonist, Maya Gold, is an ardent interfaith activist, a Jewish leader who has committed her life to bringing people of all faiths together. And her only daughter, Tamar, who is 19 years old, suddenly announces that she's in love with a Native American man, and she plans to marry him. When Maya hears this news, she's devastated. What about my legacy? What's going to become
of our people if our children don't honor and respect our traditions anymore.
What if my children go astray? What if they choose another way? What happens to our family tree? What happens to my legacy?
What if my parents wail and cry unless I'm willing to comply to serve their faith and history? Why do they have this hold on me?
Every great theater production must have a love song. And so this is a love song between Tamar, the daughter of Maya, and Stargazer, an indigenous man who are madly in love and who know that their parents on both sides do not approve of the union.
I wanna spend my life with you. Why do they try so hard to keep us far apart? Can't they see we're joined together, heart to heart? It's not impossible to cross the great divide when your love is waiting on the other side.
At the table, we can stretch it if need be, until everyone is seated at the table of humanity. Let's make room.
See you on Broadway.
Come, oh come, meet me there. Come, come.
After years of
I just wanted to add one quick sentence because I have to leave you soon, if that's okay. And that is that I was recently invited by the Theater for the New City, which is an off Broadway theater in New York, to bring the show for a 3-week run. And it's probably going to happen next spring with the help of all the supporters and friends around the world. And in the meantime, we're doing stage presentations because it's, you've got to practice, like in Carnegie Hall along the way. So for anybody who's in Los Angeles on the 6th or 7th of August, we're having a stage concert presentation at the Mount Olive Lutheran Church in Santa Monica, and its admission is free, and you're welcome to come and get a behind the scenes look at how a musical is developed. It would be really exciting to have any of you who haven't heard about the musical but live in the area come and join us. And if you go to the website here, you can just click on there and you'll get all the information. And again, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to share with you how the arts are so potent in helping to make interfaith engagement real. And
Well, Ruth, first of all, I'm a theater guy. I ran a professional theater company for a long time, and you did great. So I just want to encourage our friends, even if you don't live in LA, most of our people have friends in the Santa Monica, or at least in the Los Angeles area. So I'm leaving this up for a moment. I'm also going to put the link. It's interfaiththemusical.com. Interfaiththemusical.com. And let's get our Southern California friends out to see it. And you've done a wonderful job. The terrific songs. I love how you wove in the famous Rumi quote into a song. And I have to say that woman's hair is the most extraordinary hair I have seen in a very long time. And I'm a long hair aficionado.
One more detail. There are 15 members in the cast, and there were 3 of the 5 major roles were for Indigenous people. And I have an Indigenous leading character who came from the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee to be in the cast.
Wonderful.
Remarkable. And so this is also an area that has not been treated on the stage yet in a way that is respectful and acknowledging of what the indigenous community, the cosmology of taking care of the world. So I do hope you will come and tell your friends about it and support it. And thank you very much. I have to go.
Well,
I have a few more minutes. Yeah, I have a few more
I know you
minutes.
need to go, but you do have a friend here
Yes, I
who I think
know.
wanted to say something.
Monica is, well, not just a force of nature, she's a force of goodness. And she has been at the head of a very important organization, part of URI, the United Religions Initiative, but a separate Zoom call was established for women from around the world. It's called Women's International Network. And we meet on the second Monday of every month. And there are women from Australia, from Germany, from Venezuela, from Brazil, from Argentina, from Pakistan. We've been meeting for years, and Monica is our fearless and inspiring leader, and making sure that everyone has a voice in this conversation and supporting us all in whatever work it is we're doing in whatever part of the world. Monica, you are our great friend and our godmother too. I hope you don't mind my saying that to you.
I appreciate it. And I am thrilled to be able to be on this program and to listen to this presentation of that section of your musical, because I've heard pieces of it many times and I can't wait to see it on Broadway. Good luck with Santa Monica.
Thank you so much. I wish you could be here.
We'll be together soon.
Okay.
This is part of those worlds connecting, those pieces coming together, weaving that web. And Ruth, thank you so much. Thank you for being here with us tonight. And I did want our tribe to see you and Monica. We love gushing. We love love.
And I want to gush about the Global Peace Tribe for a moment. Can I do that before I leave?
Absolutely.
You are here all the time. You are planning these programs. You are spending hours and hours and hours creating something special for your viewers. And each of you is really important as part of this quilt of the movement that we all love and support. And Scott, coming from the theater, you have made sure that your program is always visually and artistically exciting. And I want to commend you for that, because there are a lot of podcasts and shows that do not take that into consideration. They're just talking heads. But you've always been about music and art. And of course, from Omar Shah as well. I've always listened to his music and appreciate it. So thank you for making the arts the vehicle for changing people's attitudes towards the world. If the artists were in charge of the world, I don't think we would have as many wars.
Absolutely. We wouldn't have any.
I believe the artists are the prophets of the world, and they're the ones that are here to remind us of who we are.
Absolutely.
So thank you, and God bless you and all of you. And I'll see you on Broadway.
All right. Thank you, Ruth. God bless you
Okay,
too.
thank you. Bye. Bye, everybody. Warm greetings and goodbye to everybody.
So much. And I couldn't resist popping you in, Omashar. I know you were surprised. And Scott, thank you so much for allowing me to be here and to wear the robe of the Global Peace Tribe background. I'm so honored. And I'm bringing in Steve and Abigail to help introduce Monica. What I will say, last year, if you remember, to our tribe, when we did our Interfaith Awareness Week, we also brought in Becky Suzik and did the first half of our show on Nuclear Prayer Day, including my little light, amazing grace and light language for those in Japan that are holding the peace candle for us. So I'll turn it over to you, Steve and Abigail, to introduce Monica, and then Monica is going to share more about her work and what she's going to be presenting during Interfaith Awareness Week.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't know that I could adequately present Monica. I have had the opportunity to meet her before, and know about her and the work that she does. The program that they're putting on is is for retired Right Reverend William Swing, who really began most of URI. Is that true?
He's the founding president. It was his vision.
His vision. And there aren't many people who have been with him through the years that can talk about things like this. Their program is called Nagasaki Nuclear Prayer Day and Interfaith Action. The action is what makes the difference. We can talk and talk and talk about what things need to be done. Both Abigail and I are New Thought ministers as well as interfaith ministers. And both in New Thought and Interfaith, we talk about it's okay to think and to write and to discuss, but now we have to take action. And the action is to see people from different parts of the world, accept them, honor them, give them the opportunity to know us, and for us to learn about them the way they want to learn about us. And I think Monica has always been in that position to be with people or influence people who want to take that next step. So I'm sorry, Monica.
You don't have to apologize for anything. That was beautiful. Thank you. And I have to say, it was so exciting to me that Nuclear Prayer Day, we expanded it because Nagasaki is such an important part of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. If we look at how we started 81 years ago with the atomic bombs. But to know that Interfaith Awareness Week was happening, I got in touch with you as soon as possible to be a part of it so that we could tell the story of Nagasaki in a way that is going to be new for some people, but it had to come from an interfaith love. And I just have thanked you for so many years because interfaith is what I have been doing for so many years with the United Religions Initiative and with the art project that I was representing that brought me to the United Nations, which introduced me to the URI people. So I was very involved. Did I cut you off though? Did you want to say more about Interfaith Awareness Week before I go on?
I don't think so.
Oh, I
Okay,
think we would
okay.
love to hear from you, Monica.
Okay, Abigail, I just want to thank you. And I know that the two of you working together have just made this program possible. And feeding people is an important part of keeping things going, but it's not the only thing that you do by any matter of means. And I just recognize both of you for not only your degrees and dedications, but for your love and compassion. So it was very, very, very exciting for me that Nagasaki date, August 9th, happened to be on the opening day of Interfaith Awareness Week. Because usually we're a couple of days apart and it just hasn't been as close as it might have been. And so I hope that this is both the start of something new and a continuation in others. But Interfaith Awareness Week also reminds me of a UN week, which is Interfaith Harmony Week, which I was very lucky to be a part of in how this started. And so interfaith has been just the moving passion of my life. I started at the United Nations in 1992 with an art project, and it was called The Ribbon. And the ribbon went around the Pentagon in 1985. And it was made on cloth, a meter by half meter with ties on each corner that said, the question was, what can you not bear to think of as lost forever in the event of a nuclear war? And so we are bringing Nagasaki to Interfaith Awareness Week, but we're going to start with that question. Think about the impact. What would be lost forever? And the reality of it is 1945 brought us 2 atom bombs. They were horrific. They were indiscriminate. They killed hundreds of thousands of people immediately. Some evaporated. It is horrific. And that is a low yield weapon in today's standards. We aren't talking about an exchange at all with something at that level. They are so much bigger, so much more powerful, so much more deadly. And the horror would be the end of the world. And it is in our hands. And it seems so crazy to be able to address this in a way that even begins to make sense. So having an art project made around the world, spearheaded by Church Women United, these cloth panels were tied around the Pentagon. They went 20 miles through Washington, D.C. in 1985. And we saw the reduction of nuclear weapons at that point. And we had the Reykjavik meetings between Gorbachev and Reagan. And they did come up with something that was then later even sanctioned again by Presidents Putin and Biden. And that statement that grew out of 1985 with Ronald Reagan, or 80 earlier, a nuclear war can never be won. Therefore, it should never be fought. So if we start with that, we have some sense of reality. These are dangerous. There are so many things about nuclear weapons that make it so horrific. But what we decided to do was to take this important issue that seems so huge and is usually negotiated in tables behind closed doors and or is used as threats these days, which is against the treaties. We have some treaties that are very shaky at this point because of where we are, but there is a power that we need. And as we were coming out of COVID, our little cooperation circle of URI, Voices for a World Free of Nuclear Weapons, said, what can we do that we can make an impact? And we said, we're going to have a nuclear prayer day. Now, this is not new. I was reading books, and interfaith prayer happened in 1946 in Hiroshima. We know that some of the organizations that I work with closely have been holding prayer events for years and years and years in the 30-year frame for May Peace Prevail on Earth. And so it wasn't something new, but it was something very much based on a prayer that I have the good fortune to share with you. And this prayer was written, and he says gifted, by the Right Reverend William E. Swing, the founder of the United Religions Initiative, who meets with us on a monthly basis and more often during nuclear prayer preparations. But this prayer spoke to my heart, and I hope it speaks to everyone on this call. The beginning and the end are in your hands, O Creator of the universe. And in our hands, you have placed the fate of this planet. We who are tested by having both creative and destructive power in our free will, turn to you in sober fear and intoxicating hope. We ask for your guidance and to share in your imagination in our deliberations about the use of nuclear force. Help us to lift the fog of atomic darkness that hovers so pervasively over our Earth, your Earth, so that soon all eyes may see life magnified by your pure light. Bless all of us who wait today for your presence and who dedicate ourselves to achieve your intended peace and rightful equilibrium on earth. In the name of all that is holy and all that is hoped. Amen. And I follow that with one more prayer that I use throughout my day. It's on every email. And that grew out of Japan as an answer to the atomic bomb when Masahisa Goi, who was the founder of the Byakushinko Kai, May Peace Prevail on Earth, and the Goi Peace Foundation is based on his work and his philosophy. And that's a universal prayer that all of us probably have seen on peace poles around the world. may peace prevail on earth. And as we take those prayers in, I want to share one more piece of inspiration around prayers. And in the 90s, another founder of URI, Betsy Stang. I don't know if you knew the Right Reverend Betsy Stang, or not the Right Reverend, the Reverend Betsy Stang. She was an interfaith minister out of Woodstock, New York, worked with the indigenous and worked to bring prayers to Washington, D.C. There was a prayer vigil held annually with teepees that surrounded the Washington Monument. And Grandfather Harry Bird gave us a quote that has stayed with me that I also share, and that is, "A heartfelt prayer is more powerful than an atom bomb."
Mhm.
So looking at the horrors, the money, the destruction, just about every evil you can imagine as a nuclear weapon, and how do we combat it? The power of prayer. And so Nuclear Prayer Day grew out of Voices for a World Free of Nuclear Weapons. And Bill Swing has a book called God and Nuclear Weapons. And with people working from diverse faith traditions, we are really moving people to pray for a world free of nuclear weapons. And it's starting to catch on. And I thought, because Nagasaki is on the 9th, and I knew that you did this wonderful program, that we could tell a story about Nagasaki, that we could meet Bill Swing. He's a part of the program. And then we have a few guest speakers, including Jonathan Granoff, and who's a part of URI, but he's also Global Security Institute. We have the person from the United Methodist Peace and Justice Office in Washington, D.C., Colleen Moore, and Isaac Thomas from URI, who are going to talk about interfaith actions as a part of it. So it's Nagasaki, the nuclear prayer, and interfaith actions is our program for your event. But it's so wonderful to have this time to spend together here and to be there again on the 9th. I thank you, and may peace prevail on earth.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Monica. It's beautiful.
I want to bring a couple of things up. So a week from today is when World Peace Prayer Day is happening. And actually, every year, it works out that the program is just before the Awakening World. And we carry it through our friends on the Sign Network always carries it. So I just want to invite right now our Awakening World audience, please put into your calendars for next week, Wednesday, August 5, to plan on participating in World Peace Prayer Day. And that'll start at 4 o'clock. It goes for about 2 hours. I will send out an email that has the exact link to where you guys can connect to it through our friends with the Sign Network, because they always carry it. And then we'll roll from that right into our Awakening World. And then let's also put into our calendars, of course, there's so many programs, but since you just talked about it, the Nagasaki Nuclear Prayer Day, and that's going to be on August 9th. By the way, Jonathan Granoff has been on this show several times. He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And so is Dot Mayer, Fumi. Fumi and Dot are dear friends. They're regulars on the show. So let's definitely participate. And just want to have everybody put this on your calendars right now. And I'll pass on the details and the specifics.
Thank you, Scott. I just want to put a plug in for the film that Audrey Kitagawa has created for that, and it is on Nagasaki and the bells, and it's going to open our program. So that's an important part of the legacy, because Nagasaki was a Christian community, and a Catholic cathedral was one of the recipients of the bomb itself.
Wow.
And we don't hear that part very often. And so you're going to get some history and some prayer, and Dot's going to do a Global Silent Minute. And so we really look forward to being a part of Interfaith Awareness Week. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Let me mention one thing. To get to the link to the website is world-interfaith.com. And you will see the complete program for 7 days. You can link on and enjoy.
So let's go ahead and do that right now. Here it is, world-interfaith.com. And in a moment, I'll click here to see the entire program, but there's the proclamation. There's some of the speakers and some of the wisdom. But I think what you really want to do is click here for the entire program. And that's where we can see all the amazing things that are going to be happening. So we're going to put this into the chat box. Tara, do you want to put that in the chat box for people right now? And are there any particular programs that you want to highlight right now as we kind of go through, starting on Sunday, August 9th? We can't mention every single one of these, but are there particular programs you really want to make sure our audience is especially attuned to?
I would like to just say I'll be talking a little bit later about what the Power Interfaith Team program will be doing. So I will pull back on that because it'll be fun.
Okay. Well, I see our own DR is doing something on Monday morning, August 10th. So let's all put that into our chat, into our calendars, 8 a.m. This is all Pacific times, by the way, because we're very California-centric here. And so 8 o'clock in the morning, Monday, August 10th. What a wonderful way to start a new week, listening to Diara talk about spiritual peace education. Just kind of scrolling down for a moment. Sandy Hart, she's a friend who's been on the show.
And what you're looking at is, it says to view the program, go to, and I don't put on the link, the Zoom link, until this weekend, just for security purposes. But when you go to it on the 9th, you're going to see the link. Click on it and you can go to Israel, to Chile, to Brazil, to Australia, through Canada, through the United States. I mean, there's a lot of good, wonderful people.
Yeah, I see a great one right there on Saturday night, 7 p.m. Ben Bowler, who's a good friend. We collaborate with Ben a lot. We do a lot of collaborations with him. And of course, Matthew Fox, who's been on the show, who's wonderful. And then the closing with Reverend Dr. Steve Albert. So wonderful, wonderful program happening here. Thank you so much.
Scott, I put it in our chat, and there are some amazing things, as was said, happening. We've got several musicians on Tuesday. Azim from the foundation in San Diego is going to be on, and I know Steve's going to talk about that. It's about forgiveness in the face of tragedy, and we can speak more about that as we're coming up. I'm so grateful and even just a little overwhelmed by the magnitude of what we're doing here. And what we usually do at this point in our show is we bring our beloved Omashar in for that break of music and integration. So without further ado.
Yes, without further ado. And yeah, my goodness, I'm already touched. And something that Ruth was saying earlier was there are many, many of us on the planet doing this work. And there's going to be a time that comes in which we all get introduced to each other. And that is exactly what is happening now. And I found this year specifically, I'm meeting all of the other beings who have been working individually for the last 2-3 decades. and we're coming together and we're joining together and joining hands. And a couple interesting, you were just talking about Nagasaki and all of that, because as you know, Monica, a couple of years ago, a group of us from Unity Earth went to Hiroshima, and we were with the Goy Foundation, of course, and we did a series of concerts, including one in Hiroshima, which was live streamed across the world. And this photo you see here is all of us, as you can see, right in front of the only remaining building in the whole of Hiroshima. This is just almost exactly where the bomb dropped. And you can, after all these years, you can still feel the radiation. I thought I'd been on a beach in Barbados when I left Japan. However, it touched me to the core. And when I came back from this journey, I wrote a song in response to how I was feeling. We'd just been through the Hiroshima, they call it the Peace Memorial, but it's really, if you want to know exactly what happened 80 plus years ago, this is how you found out. And so we were all touched. And so this song is called Just a Breath Away. I know we've played it before, but it's very relevant tonight. And here we go. My voice has gone froggy. I must be speaking truth. When you feel like giving up, when you feel like letting go, living in this ever-changing world, when it seems that all is lost and you don't know where to turn, the future seems so very far away. So just know there really is a plan. The sun will always shine, and with your hand in mine, all heaviness fades away. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. Ba-da-dum-bum-bum, da-da-da-dum-dum-dum. So when it seems that you're alone and the fears knock at your door, remember I am just a breath away. You are my brightest star. You've just forgotten who you are. Remember there is nothing in the way, and just know there really is a plan. The sun will always shine, and with your hand in mine, all heaviness fades away. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. So when you feel like giving up, when you feel like letting go, remember I am just a breath away. And just know there really is a plan. The sun will always shine, and with your hand in mine, all heaviness fades away. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. Ba-da-dum-dum-bum, ba-da-dum-dum-bum. The love in our hearts
May the love in our hearts absolutely melt away the darkest days. Thank you so much, Omar Shah.
It's just amazing how in tune we are, because this song just kept on saying, "Oh, you're going to play me tonight," and now I know why, because Monica just shared such a lot about what happened here, and just it's just a trip how we really all are. There's only one of us here expressing in our many forms, and we're when we tune in, we really are tuned in. So thank you for your sharing, Monica. Blessings, love you.
Thank you, Omashar, and thank you for bringing Monica back up. I just sent her a text. Thank you so much. So I'm really grateful that you brought her back to honor her and thank her for all the work that you do. And this is so beautiful. There's so much love here. And our next guest that we're going to bring in is absolutely full of love, and that's Yusuf Miller. I'm going to add you, Yusuf, in the spotlight, and then also bring Abigail and Steve back up to help introduce you. Yusuf's been a long time member of POINT, the Poway Interfaith Network, and is an ardent activist in the community, as well as many other functions. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, Steve and Abigail, to introduce Yusuf, and I'll stay here so I can gush silently.
I'm going to gush on Yusuf because I have known Yusuf for a very, very long time. I consider him my brother. I just feel like his heart is so open and so kind and so generous. And he has led so many wonderful peace vigils for those that are just needing that help. We had some crisis in the mosque here in San Diego, and he was a leader in the prayer vigil for that. A crisis with a shooting in Escondido. He was a prayer vigil leader for that. He's there where people need him. And that's what I have to say that I find so wonderful about Yusuf. I know that if I'm planning an event and all of a sudden somebody can't show up, Yusuf always says, "I've got your back," and he will show up for me always. And I love that about Yusuf. He's honorable, trustworthy, has a heart of gold, and at the same time, he's strong and powerful in the words that he uses to continue with the social justice work with the refugees and the immigration and the people that are in jail that are mistreated. He just stands up for people. And I admire Yusuf greatly. So Yusuf, I'm just so glad you're on this program tonight. Thank you for being here.
And Abigail's pretty much said 99% of it. My 1% is I wish I had the energy Yusuf has. If there's something going on that needs someone to speak up, Yusuf is there. I'll open the morning paper, Yusuf is there. I open the Sunday paper, Yusuf is there. Everywhere I go, he's there doing good. And I appreciate who he is. And I'm just glad he's my brother.
And I just want to say one thing, and Yusuf, because I know you want to talk here too. But what I also admire so much is he has 3 wonderful children. And what an honor to know that he is this wonderful father that is guiding these children to do good work in the world. And I see them too with him in different events. So you're a role model, Yusuf, not just for all of us, but a role model for your own family and children. That says a lot. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
May I put my 2 cents in? I just have to. One of the reasons I thought of you for tonight is because not only are you a social activist and a spiritual activist, you're also an amazing orator and a teacher. And so I invite you to take all the time that you need right now in sharing about your work and who you are and your faith, and to educate us as well as to uplift us.
Thank you all so much. I hope I can live up to these accolades that you've all given me. And one day I will be, I pray that I will be the Yusuf that you all say I am. Thank you, everybody, for having me here. It is wonderful to be here. And I think, well, first, I would like to welcome you all in peace in English and assalamu alaikum to all of my brothers and sisters from the Islamic tradition, and love to everyone, no matter what tradition you're from. My name is Yusef Miller, and I'm here in Escondido, California, and I'm a member of Point Poway Interfaith Team and the Islamic Society of North County and many other organizations throughout the county. But I want to start talking about Point. Point just gave me a lot of blessings and making me smile, and may that blessing go right back to you for making me smile and making my day today. But Poway Interfaith Team is so powerful. Poway Interfaith Team exemplifies the idea that we are one. And every interfaith team that you're a part of is emblematic of that same idea. We are one. We're one people. We're one race. We're one tribe. We're one everything. We are one. And even in tragedy, which as was alluded to today, we have these tragedies where some of our lost souls take life into their own hands and do destruction. What can come good of that? You know what comes good from that is our united and our unity to stand up against hate and bigotry. We have that power of people of faith to know that there's something bigger than hate, and that thing is love. That thing is unity. So when we had in Poway a beloved Jewish family, they made a Star of David during Christmas time with Christmas lights, and some lost soul didn't like it and spray painted a swastika on their garage. What did we do? Everyone came to Poway from Poway Interfaith Team and others. Our Christians, our Jews, our Muslims, our atheists, our agnostics, our Buddhists, our Hindus, our Sikhs, everyone came and so on to surround this family and support them with love. And believe it or not only human beings came, and Abigail and Steve can attest to this, and everybody who else was there. We had a donkey there too. It was symbolizing Jesus and his traveling on the donkey, and it was taken around, and everybody was petting and loving the donkey. And there was a menorah mobile. I know you think I'm exaggerating because it's so incredible, but there was a car with a huge menorah on top of it, and it circled the block. And every time it came by, everybody clapped and cheered, and it would go around the block, and we would wait for it to come again. It was a big block, so it took a little bit of time to come back. But this is our unity and standing up for one another. Shortly after that, someone tried to burn down the mosque right in my neighborhood, 2 blocks from my house, and everyone survived in there. They were able to put the fire out. But back to the point, everyone came. Our Christians, our Jews, our atheists, our agnostics, our Hindus, our Buddhists, our Sikhs. Everybody came and supported and said, we stand against hate. We stand against violence, that we all are one. Shortly after that, another tragedy in Poway, where we actually lost a life. And we came together again to support one another. So this track record is not something that comes out of nothing. It is something from things like this, where we build the road, we build the relationships, we build the love and the unity when we come together in lovely events like this, so that when a tragedy happens, or when something beautiful happens, we all come together. When Ramadan syncs up with anything in the Christian, like Easter or something like this, or Lent, when it comes together, or when we come together with Jewish on the calendar, a Jewish event come together, it's a beautiful opportunity for us to come together and love on one another. Loving on one another is the key to the situation we're in today. So we love on one another. And then just recently, I can't go on without saying this one last part. And I'm starting with this because this is the heaviest part, and I'm going to lighten our hearts after. But then there was another attack on the Islamic Center of San Diego where we lost 3 people. And again, all and this was just recently, and all the people came back. Over 1,000 people came to the mosque, and they were standing in vigil. They had flowers, loving on us, loving us to life. loving us back. And this is the road that we should always be on, where we are a phone call away, an email away, a tragedy away, but also beauty away. You know, now we're coming out of this pit of despair. I want to talk about the beauty of Poway Interfaith Team, the way we go to the hospitals in Poway, in Escondido, and we bring so much. We bring the bears, the stuffed animals, and we take it to the sick people on the wards, and we hand them out for love, with love. And those who are like, they're too old and they're too stubborn, they don't want a teddy bear, we say, hey, give it to your grandkid. And they're like, hey, good idea, and they take it anyway. They're like, I don't want a teddy bear, give it to someone else. You know how we get hardened as we get older, but you can soften the heart when you talk to the heart in a particular way. And they take these stuffed animals, lovely stuffed animals, and we give them the choices between the different types of love. And they ask us, well, how much is this? It doesn't cost anything. Your payment was your smile. Your payment is your joy and your upliftment in this trying time for you in the hospital. We do that. We also reach out for anti-human trafficking, to fight human trafficking and spread awareness of the homeless situation in crisis around the country. It's us, we people of faith, that know that there is something bigger than us out there, and we have to do our part here on this terra forma so we can go into a way to live in a very a satisfied and enlightened life. And this is the route through Poway Interfaith Team and the interfaith team that you're involved in, no matter where you are. I would like to say that all of us are not only inspiring, but we inspire one another. And whenever I see someone else doing a good thing, that makes me, why aren't we doing that? Let's do it here. So we are about love, we are love, and we have to be love. During this Interfaith Awareness Week that is coming up, it is something very important where people from all over the world are involved in it and showing their love across the planet. I also have a speaking part there. Usually I do 2 speaking parts, but I was so busy with those other things that Steve was talking about that I only got 1 part this time because I was just running around and I didn't secure my spot. But normally I will do one, which is the interfaith heritage of Islam. A lot of people think Islam is so rigid, it's so old and archaic, but that's not the actual truth. Unfortunately, people don't display the best of our religions. We have Christians who don't display the best of Christianity. Our Jewish brothers, sisters, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Baha'is, there's always going to be some. But when we look at the core documents say in all of our faiths the same thing. It has the same essence. It has the same beauty. It has the same nurturing. And that's what I talk about, to share that you will not be able to exclude your Muslim brothers and sisters from this same beauty because it exists everywhere. So I talk about the interfaith heritage of Islam, and hopefully you can see one of my previous videos on that subject. But this time, what I also do is I present with my co-chair from the Interfaith Coalition for Earth Justice. Yes, Interfaith Coalition for Earth Justice. What are we talking about here? We're saying that no matter what faith tradition you come from, it doesn't matter. Whatever faith tradition you come from, it has a reverence for the earth. It has a duty to make sure that we have clean water, clean air, and protect the species that are not human and animals and all these things, that we are all made up of the same stuff and we need to acknowledge it. There are some people today that think in the secular community that religion doesn't have anything to do with earth justice so much. You know, it's more of a secular thing because they're ahead of us. But we want to dispel that myth. We want to let people know that our initial heritage is earth justice. If I could take you back, the people of faith here, to the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve, and if you don't believe in that scenario, just the first 2 people on earth, however you see it, when the first 2 people were placed in the garden, they had a responsibility. What was that responsibility? Family and friends and siblings, to take care of one another, which is humanitarianism, to take care of the animals, which is animal rights activism, and take care of the garden and all that's in it, which is environmental justice. This is the core of our inheritance from since we were created as human beings. And this is something that we went away. We went away from our inheritance, some of us. We have to be reminded that the path forward sometimes is behind you. Sometimes the path forward is behind you. So we have to look at our original traditions, the way it talks about standing up for the earth, standing up for the environment. Do not spoil the lands, do not spoil the waters, do not cut down fruit bearing trees. All of this is in Islam. All of this is in our faiths. No matter what faith you choose, you will find it in there. Our indigenous brothers and sisters, and no matter what country you go to, the indigenous population there are more in tune with this ancient perspective. And we, as Interfaith Coalition for Earth Justice, recognize that. We work with our indigenous brothers and sisters in the Interfaith Coalition for Earth Justice, along with people of different faiths, to say, Amen. We all are responsible for this planet. And if you don't vibe so much with the religious perspective, you're still not left out. You may not think that the Garden of Eden happened or God put people in the planet to do XYZ. You're still included. You're still part of it because this planet is Project A. There's no Project B. This is Project 1. We cannot afford to lose this planet. So you're still included because you know why? If you believe in science, then you realize, again, we are all one. We're made up of the stuff that makes this planet. We made up of stuff that makes the environment. Did you know, brothers and sisters, that 99% of a tree is the same material that is in us as human beings? So you want to say that we are not the trees, we are not the plants, we are not the environment, we are the environment. A lot of us only know that primates make up over 90% of our DNA, but brothers and sisters, most animals make up a huge batch of our DNA. So when we look at mice, you would think mice don't look like human beings at all. They have 90% of our same DNA, 85 to 90%. Brothers, sisters, they are us. They are our neighbors. They are our neighbors. And I know we don't want them in our house. We don't want them in our homes. We understand, but realize that we are connected. Cows make up 80%. Cows. Cows make up 80% of our DNA. They are our neighbors. So we need to make sure. Cats, we have some cat lovers here, I'm sure. Cats and dogs. Cats make up 90% of our DNA. It is amazing how connected we are. And when we go back to our original inheritance, which is taking care of one another, human beings, which we have to do a better job. Taking care of the animals, we have to do a better job. Taking care of the plants and the waters and the soils, the air, we have to do a better job. This is what Interfaith Coalition of Earth Justice communicates to all of us, shares with everyone, and it makes you remember your duty. This is not new. This is not innovation. This is not, modern enlightenment thinking. No, this is ancient, and we lost our way. Let's all go back and get back into the soil. Take off your shoes sometimes and walk through the grass. Go to the beach and let your toes sink into the sand. Go to the shores and watch the water wash off over your ankles or up to your knees or whatever you feel comfortable. Feel the sun on your face. Hear the birds chirping. Actually be engaged in the existence that we are blessed to have. This is an expression of love, that we sometimes don't appreciate. We don't appreciate that we can see the colors of the flowers, the beautiful greenery of the trees, and all the colors that the fall brings us, the chirping of the different birds in the sky. We get so used to it, we don't appreciate it. But I'm asking us all to plug back into the universe, plug back into the planet, plug back into one another. Plugging into one another takes us away from having so many lost souls. We go onto internets and we go down to rabbit holes, and there's no human warmth in there. Human warmth is touching. Human warmth is a hug. Human warmth is a kind word. You can feel the vibrations in person that will reverberate in your skin. That's why some people are like, hey, we need another in-person meeting. The reason why they say that is because they're getting back to the roots, the vibration of being around another human. We vibrate goodness to others when we're on the right tune. And we want to limit the vibrations against one another by making sure that we come together and bring those youth out of those dark vacuums, love them back into life, love them back into spiritual health, love them back into spiritual life. This is our way forward, and it is the only way. Anything other than that is self-destruction. But we are here for life. We are here for interfaith interaction, human interaction, community interaction. We are here to remember again that we are one. We are one. We will remain one even if our mind thinks differently. Let's all stay one, brothers, sisters, family, friends, siblings. We are one people. Thank you.
I'm going to go to gallery view for us to just all send some love. Let me go to gallery view for a moment there. And let's just send some love and appreciation for so much valuable depth of wisdom and inspiration shared. And turning it back over to you, Diara.
Again, almost speechless, Yusuf, just the connections that you draw for us and your wisdom and how you inspire us. I'm having trouble keeping up with the chat and everything that's in there. Just so beautiful. And want to bring up Abigail and Steve again too to say more about you and your wisdom, and also to make sure we highlight your presentation in the schedule that's coming up. That's on Thursday, August 13th, and that's from 6 to 7:30, where you're going to go deeper into the social justice. Anything you want to say about that before we?
Sure. I can take the mic again. Of course, this is just the way we are in faith communities. We are not shy from the mic. Was that directed to me? I'm sorry.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, yes, in social justice here in San Diego County, like any county USA, we have a problem. We have an issue with the wayward and lost souls who are not on the right path and need our encouragement. They need our example. And we not only lose people and have traumatized people in issues of race, issues of borders, issues of identity, that we have people that their souls are destroyed. In Islam, it says there's two pieces of flesh that can save, each one can save and destroy. That is your heart and your tongue. It can save people, your tongue. It can inspire people, and it can also cut them to pieces. So we have to make sure that we are careful and mindful of our heart, and our heart can also inspire us to do some of the best things in the world. Our heart makes us save other species. Our heart makes us save plants, save human beings, but it can do the opposite if we're not careful. So guard against your heart and guard against your tongue doing the worst things. Here in San Diego, we have misguided folks where the racism in San Diego County is the highest among anti-Black, and religion is highest among our Jewish brothers and sisters. We can fix that by making sure we send the love and the vibrations out to the community. In San Diego County, we also have a problem with in custody death rates. And it takes us to get into the jails and let them know that we are holding you accountable for the lives of our loved ones. If they've made a mistake, they should pay for their mistakes and they should come out and reintegrate it for a better life on another track. But how can they do it if we neglect them to death? This is not an anti-law enforcement statement here. This is a pro-human statement. Fix the systems that allow this break in human dignity so that they can come out and go the other way. Our job is not to just punish. We should be into reform. Let them experience that they've made a mistake, but that mistake is redeemable, especially people on this call. We believe in redemption. There's not a single one of us that doesn't believe in redemption. Everyone can be redeemed, and we have to be redeemable. And that's what keeps us ourselves redeemable so that we can redeem. So this is what really inspires us into social justice in the San Diego County. The families that are harmed in schools, the families that are harmed in neighborhoods, the families are destroyed in the legal justice system. The families currently being harmed when it comes to immigration policies. Our Haitian brothers and sisters and our Syrian brothers and sisters received a terrible blow just recently. Our Latinx brothers and sisters have been receiving terrible blows for a very long time that none of us are safe from. This is not a political statement one way or the other. This is a human statement that I'm talking about the humanity of our brothers and sisters here and around the world, where we have tragedies and we have warfare and we have abuse of people around the world. How can we change that if we don't start locally in your neighborhoods, in your community, in your cities, to bring that love and nourishment out of your community? And it takes a social interaction. As I said the other week, you can't just hate it from your couch. You can't just hate it in your heart. It should propel your feet. And if you can't, if you're differently abled, it should propel your hands to write a letter to your governors, to your senators, to your legislators to make this a better world. We all have the capability to encourage and encounter to make our community safe. And it is actually, as we all know, a religious duty. So please join us out on the streets. Join us at the parks. Join us in the Zooms, that we are the people who have the obligation to pray with our feet and to pray with our hands in good deeds throughout the community. Thank you.
You know, I want to take a moment to just let people know about you can be found on Facebook. If you, and many of you are on Facebook, just put into the search bar Interfaith Coalition for Earth Justice. And of course, this is what he was sharing about. And I would love to maybe even do an entire show with you and some of your other people, because we do a lot of environmental programs and earth justice programs. And it's great to know about you and this wonderful work that you're doing. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Diara, I'm going to bring you and Dr. Abigail and Dr. Steve back up.
Thank you. Yusuf, you did not disappoint. And Scott, thank you for that suggestion. I'm really happy, and my heart feels so much joy. Yes. There's wonderful things coming in the chat for you, Yusuf. And Abigail and Steve, anything else you want to say before we turn the mic over to you, Abigail, and then Steve, and go deeper into our overall.
Well, the one thing I will say about Yusuf, he is my younger brother, and I taught him everything he knows. No, that's not true. This man has taught me quite a bit, and the beauty is every time we do the work at the hospital, he brings his children with him so they can experience the giving at a young age. It's so beautiful to see them every time we do that. Thank you, Yusuf.
Thank you, Steve.
Just appreciate you so much, Yusuf. I'm so glad you were on the show tonight.
Thank you, Abigail.
Now, your voice needs to be out there, and it is. That's the beauty. Just continue whatever you're doing, all that you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay. So now, Abigail, we're going to ask you to share about Point, the updates. Again, you've got such a fan club here inside our Zoom and beyond. And I'm just so honored and privileged to have you both as dear friends as well as colleagues. So to update us on Point and the newsletter, and then also to talk about your presentation during Interfaith Awareness Week. And then Steve, thank you for being so patient, and we will give you the mic when your beloved wife is complete, and then we'll move on, and we've got more.
Okay, well, I am just grateful to be here tonight. I am just loving tonight's show and the music. Oh, I'm just loving the music, loving the talks, the people, everybody. It's just, it's an honor again, Deborah. I really appreciate that. So Deborah's asked me to talk a little bit about Point, a little bit update on Point, a little bit about the newsletter, and then a little bit about what New Thought, because I'm a New Thought minister, religious science, what do we feel about peace? So as far as Point goes, Point is changing its shift a little bit. And I think that you will all appreciate the fact that we no longer do a business meeting every month. We've finally decided that we're all about connections. Talk about what Yusuf was saying. We're all about connections. We want to know each other more. We want to find out more about each other. So we started to have a connections event or gathering in person every other month. And we have had people that have not been to Point meetings come for the first time. And we're just so excited that this is really working. People need each other, and this is important. Our first one was a spiritual soundtrack where everyone brought their favorite music, spiritual song. We had a couple of singers sing songs that they composed. It was very, very well received, and everybody loved it. And then the second one, because we've only had two, is one spiritual practice. What spiritual practice roots you in your faith, that grounds you, that you feel so grounded to, that really inspires you to be the best person you can be. And that was very successful. And in fact, here's the deal. When we have our Power Interfaith Team program, which will be on Sunday, August 9th from 1 to 2:30, that's going to be one of our topics. We're going to have a connections, a global connection, people all around the world. And we're going to talk about that. We'll have breakout sessions. Like, what is the one spiritual aspect of your tradition that roots and grounds you? So you'll have a chance to share that from all the different faith traditions. We're also going to ask the question, how does your faith improve your life? And I love hearing about how faith improved your life. And also, what are some of the misconceptions about your faith that people, they say, but they don't really understand? And I was really happy when Yusuf was talking about sometimes people don't quite understand the true meaning of Islam. And I've heard people from the Baha'is and from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who say they really don't understand this. So this will be a global connection where we can talk about these things together. So that's going to be our program for Interfaith Awareness Week. So we're very excited about that. And as Yusuf mentioned, one of our activities is to bring cute little teddy bears and stuffies to the patients at two of our hospitals in the San Diego area, which has always been successful. And we also have the Harmony Breakfast that somebody alluded to earlier. The United Nations has an annual World Interfaith Harmony Week. And so the Power Interfaith team has always had a breakfast. We invite our spiritual leaders, organizational leaders, our politicians, our city council, and anybody who wants to just show up are invited to come and share. And we usually have a theme, but the most important thing is the connections and how we can help each other in the different areas of our life and what we do. How can I help the sheriff's department? How can I help the fire department? How can I help the social justice people? And we have a chance to do that. And then, of course, we have a spring summer program. We didn't do this year, but I think our new thing was this connection. So we're doing that every other month. And of course, we have Interfaith Awareness Week. And then we team up with our sheriff's department for National Night Out, which is coming up next week. Then also Faith in Blue, which we include our fire department, and they all bring their fire trucks, and we even have the helicopter from the sheriff's department with the K9 unit. We've got the horse unit. We've got all kinds, and they bring out all the stuff that they can do to help our community. And that's the families come and everybody just absolutely loves it. The kids, especially when they get to pet the horse, pet the dog, look at the helicopter that comes down. So we have a wonderful time there. And of course, we have our beloved Interfaith service, Thanksgiving service, which is usually the week before Thanksgiving. And this is when we honor all the people, all in giving thanks to all these wonderful people. And we have speakers from all faiths and our music from the different traditions. We have sometimes dancing from the different traditions. And so these are just some of the things that we do throughout the year that I am just very grateful to be a part of, because it's fun and it's wonderful. People come together with joy. I think we talked about joy in our heart and love in our heart. So that's kind of where we are with our point. And then the third thing that Deborah asked me to talk about was what does New Thought believe about peace? What does that mean to us as New Thought tradition? Now, New Thought really is kind of an umbrella, and it's an umbrella for religious science, which is I'm an ordained religious science minister. Unity, Steve is Unity. We have divine science, and then we have a lot of different other organizations that are under that. It's kind of like the Christian denominations, where they have the different denominations. Well, there's different areas and groups under the umbrella of New Thought. So anyway, so I'm religious science, which is under that umbrella. And our founder is, for religious science, is Dr. Ernest Holmes. And I really love his quote. He has a quote that really implies how New Thought has embraced so many of the world's traditions. He says, the philosophy of New Thought is a synthesis of the greatest concepts that have ever come to the mind of humankind. The laws of Moses, the love of Christ, the ethics of Buddha, the morals of Confucius, and the deep spiritual realization of the Hindus. They all find an exalted place in New Thought. And he didn't mean to leave out anybody, but it's the idea that he looked at all the world's religions and he didn't expect to start a religion. He just wanted to share what he learned. And so from an ancient word, we picked this up. It wasn't what we started. There's an ancient principle that kind of runs through all the traditions. It says a new thought produces a new condition. To think about that for a minute. And he also said, if you change your thinking, change your life. If you change your thinking, you change your life. If you change your consciousness, you change your experience. So what we feel in New Thought, it's really all about consciousness. I know many of our speakers tonight talked about love and compassion and joy and giving. All of that is a consciousness that somebody has in their mind and in their heart. So in order to bring peace, we each have to embody that idea of peace, embody that idea that I love you so much, I don't care what you are thinking. Maybe you and I have a different view, but I still love you and I want peace in this relationship. So we come to peace through our minds and through our hearts, because if we don't, then we come into a relationship with another person, or at a meeting, at our work, walking into the grocery store, we may come in with anger. How is that going to get passed on? I love the fact that Yusuf brought up the idea of vibrations, because I truly feel like our minds and hearts, when we step into a room, we are bringing in that consciousness that we have. And we really want to embody the consciousness of peace, because that's going to be the energy that vibrates out into that room. And everybody in that room will feel what you are, which is you are a person bringing in peace. It's an energy, it's a vibration. And so our hearts and our minds, we have thoughts. So our thoughts really go out and touch the hearts and minds of other people. So we always have to keep in mind what we're thinking about, we're bringing about. So what do we want to bring about in our life? If you want peace, start thinking about peace, start being peace. You know, there's a lot of differences in politics today. And I have a lot of friends from different areas, Republicans and Democrats. But when we come into a room, especially when we have our Power Interfaith team, we all come together, different faiths, different politics, and we get along. Because we love each other. We see each other as friends, as another human being on this road. So everything that you think about, you're going to bring about. So if you want to think about peace, you're going to be bringing about peace. Because words have an effect on everybody. I know all of you probably have had the experience. If you're standing in line, I know I have, standing in line, whether it's at the post office or in line at the grocery store or paying for something, and there's somebody ahead of you and you want to step back, like, ooh, something doesn't feel right about this person. There's something coming forth from that person, emanating. Maybe his consciousness is not one of peace and love and harmony, but one of anger, mistrust. Maybe he's been hurt, so he's feeling hurt. And so that hurtfulness is kind of bouncing back on me. But when you stand next to somebody that you can't hardly wait to get to, we all have those people that you just want to love them up, love them up, because their hearts are full of love and peace and compassion. And so when we embody love, peace, and compassion, that's what we're bringing out into the world. And everybody feels it. It goes out. It doesn't stay. I really believe, what is it? I don't remember the saying, but if the butterfly flaps its wings, it's felt on the other side of the world. I believe that. Our words do that. Our thoughts do that. Our minds and our hearts do that. So in order to bring about peace, we have to embody the idea of peace and feel it ourselves. We can't change another person. We can only change ourselves. We also brought in the idea of the law of attraction and the law of karma. That's from our Eastern tradition, beloved friends. Think about, what is the consequence of my actions? If I do this, what do you think is going to happen? It might make you think the steps down the road. And so always be mindful of where your heart is, where your mind is, how you're showing up in the world, how you are imprinting upon another person. And I just want to conclude this part of it. The beautiful Tibetan monk Thich Nhat Hanh said, enlightenment is when the wave realizes and knows it is the ocean. Think about that. Enlightenment is when the wave realizes and knows it's the ocean. Well, so are we. Think of, as the wave is the ocean in form, humanity is divinity in form. We're all from the same source. As Yusuf said, we're all one, we're all connected, we all have the DNA of each other and of God. We're all one. So to bring peace, let's bring peace so that we realize it's going out into that oneness of our family all around the world. So I'm just happy to be able to share that with you tonight. And I'm going to bring this back to Deborah and Steve.
Thank you, Abigail. I'm busy typing away in our chat, thinking about Omishar's song about the wave and the ocean, and in this Zoom room in our tribe, here and beyond, the energy that we send out does indeed change the world. Yes. Thank you. So yeah, we will highlight your talk to find out more about New Thought during the week. And Steve, again, thank you for being so patient, because your favorite part of the whole evening is to share about the menu and tell us about all the people that you've brought in. And
Well, I first have to say two things. Isn't she incredible? And secondly, I have to make a clarification, because when Abigail mentioned that we take these bears to the hospital, she was incorrect. We are interfaith. We don't bring just bears. Some are giraffes, some are turtles, some are all different types of animals go to the patients. As a funny story with that, we walk into a room where there is this marine type man, strong, going through a health challenge, and we say, here's a box of stuffed animals. One of these has been blessed for you. Which would you like? And this strong big guy picks up the smallest little puppy and puts it to his chest. And we know we've made a difference in somebody's life who's gone through tragedy. One of the things that I've written many books on is that we evolve. People evolve. We evolve from the time we're children through elementary school. Every time we learn something new, we take that into ourselves and we decide whether or not we can use that concept to go forth into teenage, a young adult, further on. And I'll bet you that everybody that is listening to this now has gone through an issue where they didn't think they were going to be where they are now, where they were young. And I'm going to be a fireman. I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be this and that. And yet, years later, they're into an area that perhaps is not exactly what they thought about. We evolve. We have evolved since the beginning of time. With all the machines that we create, we evolve into having an airplane. First airplanes, everybody said, what are you, crazy? What do you think, you're a bird? You can't fly. And now we go to the moon. It's as simple as in olden days when we didn't really use electricity, didn't know what electricity was. We didn't have some of the amenities that we have now of being able to wash your clothes, being able to put food into a refrigerator, a freezer, and have it later for something else. We have evolved continuously in every aspect of our life. I am hoping through this Interfaith Awareness Week that we will evolve into more peaceful people, that we will evolve into a group of people that will accept and honor more people that look different than us, that have a different skin color, a different this, a different that. They speak differently. They have their evolution brought them to where they are. I want to grow myself and evolve myself to the point of, wow, I can learn from them. If you go back to what all the avatars of the different religions spoke about, they said, be good to one another. They didn't say, be good to the ones that look like you. They said, be good to one another. Love your neighbor just the way you love yourself. Now, I've got to assume that everybody sitting here listening to this loves themselves. Well, maybe you're going through some trouble. Maybe you're going through some issues. I fortunately have had some major issues in my life, and every one has helped me grow beyond what I was before. I had a major stroke, took the left side of my body. And I got through that, and I began to volunteer with people who are going through rehab and stroke experience and whatever. And when I walk into a room and say to somebody who is going through a stroke that I understand how you're feeling, I understand your fear, I understand this, they accept that. And when I tell them they're going to get well, you know what they say? Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to make it. I'm going to get past the job that I got fired from. I'm going to get past the divorce that I went through. I'm going to get past all the crap that we went through to get us to a higher place. And one of my books is called Ignore the No. Ignore the No. It's on Amazon. You can all go get it. Ignore the no. When somebody tells you, you can't do that, and your heart says, I want to do it, that's your ticket to being able to do more. I had a high school counselor who told me I was not college material. You don't tell a 16, 17-year-old boy that he can't go to college if in his heart he wants to. And so I have 3 college degrees and a PhD with my, theological institute and the whole bit. I've done things that people said, Steve, you're not going to be able to do that. And a week later, it was done. When we began Interfaith Awareness Week 10 years ago, we went to the mayors and the leaders of all the counties and said, would you accept for your community that people will honor each other? He said, well, why don't you come to a community meeting and tell them what you're doing? And we went to many community meetings. Some we met, some we didn't. But the people said, yes, I will honor all. All you have to do is give them a chance. Let's have the chance to bring peace to the world. There was one other point that I always make, and I hope you take this. Nothing that is good in this world ever happened without previously having something bad happen. You don't create a product that will bring you health until you're unhealthy. Okay? Everything that we love happened because there was something we didn't love and we tried to make it better. I want to make this world better. Right now, the world is not perfect the way I can see it. And Interfaith Awareness Week has been my baby to bring people together I mean, we're going to have over 75 different speakers over the week. Come, listen, get a new idea. And if you think it can't be done, I'm going to tell you it can. And that's enough for me because I talk too much. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your evening program.
Oh, Steve, thank you. You've said so much. One of the things that you mentioned was the freedom and the time that we have now because of all the mechanical devices that have made our lives easier. So many of us have the luxury of deeper exploration. And of course, as we know, we're on the verge of a spiritual evolution and taking it to places we don't even know about yet. Thank you.
I used to always attend the Association for Global New Thought conferences. So we probably were in rooms together listening to Michael Beckwith and our other heroes at AG&T. In fact, back when I was doing television production, I filmed a lot of those AG&T conferences. So I'm sure we've been sitting next to each other.
Steve and I met at the first.
That's where we met.
conference.
At
The first conference, 1999, is where we met.
Wow, how perfect. How perfect. Steve mentioned that he's an author, and you can find him on Amazon. There he is, Reverend Albert. And so you can find him on Amazon. Just put his name in, put in Reverend Albert, and he comes right up. Absolutely. And a reminder one more time that you can get the schedule by going to world-interfaith.com and then click, and there's the schedule of all the amazing programs that are going to be going on. I am going to read, I'm going to keep you up so people get to look at your bright, shiny faces. And I'm going to bring up our other guests. Monica is still with us, so I'm bringing Monica up because there's so many wonderful comments that have come in to the chat box. And I'm going to read, there's more than I can possibly read, but I'm going to read some of the wonderful things that have been shared by our beautiful Global Peace Tribe audience. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go to gallery view. That's what I'll do. I'll go to gallery view while I read this. Carol Craig, of course, brings up, I love Michael Beckwith. I first started going to Agape when we were meeting on metal folding chairs in the early 80s at the Santa Monica Miramar Hotel. That's how far back I go with the Rev. Carol Craig says, I'm looking forward to attending many of this year's presentations. And she also says, my main mantra is the theory of Santa Claus. Be good for goodness sake. I love that.
Ooh, I like that.
She also was still on Carol. She recommends the book One River, Many Wells by Matthew Fox, and we love Matthew Fox. Karen S. is one of our longtime Global Peace Tribers. She has been with us from the very, very beginning. And she writes, in my daily life, I include elements from various faiths, including Christian, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism. After doing a comprehensive study of various religions back in 1982, I realized that when you go back to what the founders of each various religion were trying to do, the goals were very similar. Therefore, at their core, the various religions are more alike than they are different and are all trying to ultimately get to the same place, which is oneness with God or the divine or whatever name we give it. They just have different ways of getting there with their terminology and different practices. Beautifully stated, Karen. Absolutely. Dana Tomasino asks, probably rhetorically, out of that oneness, how do we wind up with 10,000 plus religions and faiths? Reverend Jeffrey put the link into the chat box. We did a whole show on creating peace through inspirational music and wisdom of Ernest Holmes. And it was really, really fun show that we did. So the link is in the chat box. And we had people like Marshall Lefferts and all sorts of wonderful people on that show. It's a good one. Eleanor Joy writes, love and peace and compassion feeling the vibe in another, which is why I shared all of this in the above, which I'll get to. Connecting in a fun way with others, whether a friend or a stranger, this is how I help lighten up my life, whether it's in the health food store or here in the awakening world, wherever it might be. So thank you, Elizabeth. I mean, Eleanor Joy, sorry about that. I was looking at Elizabeth when I said that. Susan Bloomquist writes, I enjoy our experiences here with meditations and healings, a kind of service to honor our own healings and desire for connection. And DR had asked different ways that people celebrate different spiritual practices. And so I just want to acknowledge all the different spiritual practices that people put into the chat box, and all the different ways that we do that. So then I'm getting now to just all the appreciations for our speakers tonight. So thank you very, very much. Thank you, beautiful Global Peace Tribe. I'm going to turn it back over to Deara.
Thank you, Scott. I think we're winding down and getting ready to move into our Global Peace Tribe announcements and prayer time, and then of course, as always, our beloved Omashar to wrap us up with a neat little bow. And I want to thank you, Scott, again for tonight and allowing us to bring forward Abigail and Steve, your work, and Monica and Yusuf and Ruth, and just what an absolute joy. Absolute joy.
Absolutely. And this is an annual event now. We will, if everybody is willing, let's do this every year.
Yes. And watch our evolutionary growth each year. I had an experience the other day in a car wash. I was waiting in line to have my car washed, and this goes into service and paying it forward. And the person in front of me came up to my window and startled me. But when I rolled down the window, he gave me 2 coins. And he said, read these coins while you're waiting. One of them is Welcome Home, Never Forgotten. And it's a tribute to the Vietnam War Veterans Wall. Many all gave some gave all. And then the other one has the We the People and all the flags and the emblem on the back of the coin. And keeping in mind what we've been talking about and who we are as a tribe, I thought, why is this gift coming to me? What is this person sharing? What is mine to do with this? And I thought, here's a man that obviously gave of his life and time of service. And no matter what, my beliefs were or his beliefs or why, I just felt called to bring into our prayer time tonight prayers for all those that give service in spiritual ways, in religious ways, in serving the country, in serving in the grocery stores, as we mentioned, in serving in the way that we do here in our Peace Tribe. So I wanted to honor this person that gave me these coins, and I rolled down my window to wave and thank him, and then the car wash started, the water started coming in, so it was like a beautiful baptism and a blessing. So just thank you all for the service that you bring. Thank you for all the work and bringing together Interfaith Awareness Week. We know that we include all those no matter what their belief systems are. Whether they choose to believe in not believing, I always like to say we honor that as well. Thank you for all the international work that we do and the work that we do with our own selves in learning to continue to love ourselves. We pray for those in need. I have a heavy heart from one of my friends that just went into hospice, and praying for her. I have permission to share, but I think I'll save that. And praying for all those in our Zoom rooms and beyond, those that are watching the replays, all those in need of love and healing and life. And we know that life goes beyond. We know that this is not all there is, and yet we treasure these moments that we have, this precious, precious life. On Monday, August 10th, during Interfaith Awareness Week, I think I'm going to be doing a deep dive prayer meditation to bring that consciousness into our bodies, to soothe the soul. We're shifting into peace as well as honoring diversity. So just want to offer that to anyone that wants to come in. And of course, if Monday morning is too early for a deep dive meditation, it'll be in the replay. So thank you for including me in the program. And I think with that, Scott, we'll turn it back to you. And I know Omashar is going to take us home.
All right, I'm going to go to gallery view because we always like to just have silence for a minute or two as an opportunity for everybody to put prayer into, and I'm going to get a gallery view and keep it in gallery view, so that we can all just take our collective energy and whatever people wish to pray for. And let's have 2 minutes of silence. Daryl Craig's asking us to send healing energy to her friend Derek here in Trinidad, who lost his brother and father in the same week in 2 separate incidents. Maximum grace for Derek. Prayers for Dia's friend Deborah, who just this morning had a mastectomy of her right breast. Maximum grace for Dia's friend Deborah. Maximum grace for our beloved Scotty Satori. Scotty, you are always with us. We love you. And I feel called to just remember our beloved Roger, Bonnie's husband, who passed. And in just remembering you, Roger, we love you very much, always. Maximum grace to all, and maximum grace for this upcoming Interfaith Awareness Week. May it attract wonderful souls, new people, old friends, and may everyone be inspired to, as Yusuf suggested for us all, to really look at what can I do to create peace in our world. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to turn it over to beloved Omashar.
I am with you here inside. Don't worry, don't worry. And I love you more than you could know. So come along now and lay your head on my heart, on my heart. Close your eyes, dear, and rest a while in me. Keep open your heart, let in the sun, and bathe yourself in the garden of one. Know you're at home and in my embrace. Here is divine grace. And now I ask you, toward me. I can feel your longing to be home. So come along now and lay your head on my heart, on my heart. Close your eyes, dear, and rest a while in me. Keep open your heart, let in the sun, and bathe yourself in the garden of one. Know you're at home and in my embrace. Here is divine grace. And I love you more than you could know. So keep open your heart, let in the sun, and bathe yourself in the garden of one. Know you're at home and in my embrace. Here is divine grace. Here is divine grace. Here is empty space.
Beautiful. Thank you, Omashar. Thank you, Dr. Steve, Dr. Abigail, and of course, Diara.
We have
Monica.
another visitor here, Scott. Come here. Come quick. He heard me singing from upstairs and he came down to say hello.
Oh my gosh, look at that little fella.
What's your name? Leyland.
Leyland.
Yeah,
He's beautiful.
He heard me playing upstairs and ran down and knocked on the door.
I love that. He fits right in with Jesus and Krishna there.
Woohoo! Okay, ciao.
Wonderful to have the young people represented. All right, everybody. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful show. Hope to see you all on Saturday night. I don't have the poster up yet, but it's another soul search evening. So we'll have psychics and healers doing wonderful things for all of us. So, and let's all go to Interfaith Awareness Week in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to that. Take care, everybody.